Well, welcome back to video 3 in this series that I've been releasing this week on training your dog how to be more calm. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to train your dog what I call the chill out command, where you will have an exercise to do with your dog by the end of this video that will actually lower his heart rate on command, so that you finally have a tool for instantly chilling your dog out when he's all worked up. But I need to warn you here, if you don't train this part of the training, if you've been following along this whole series and you don't train this final piece, your dog will never have the ability to remain calm on his own, and he will be stuck having to rely on you to always be there to tell him to be quiet or always be there to reprimand him if he gets too out of control. This is the missing piece, this is the missing link that you absolutely have to train your dog, or it's really kind of all for nothing. But before we get to that training, I wanted to recap a couple of things that are important for you to remember as you watch today's video. And actually, if this is the first video you've sat down to watch in this series, you really should go back and start from the beginning with video 1, because each video has been building on the other, and watching them out of order really isn't going to be as helpful for you as I'd like it to be. So if you haven't checked out the other videos yet, there's a link above that you can click on to find them. Now, listen. We've talked about how the biggest problem with why your dog struggles to remain calm is tied to your pet parenting style. And this is because most pet parenting styles create dogs who can't control their own emotional outbursts. And that the only style that consistently creates dogs who know how to stay calm is the style that focuses on teaching your dog how to control his own emotions when you're not around. A style that I call the emotion coach. And in my last video, I showed you the first steps for how this starts to work with your dog by giving you one of the tools for how to fix overexcitement with overreactive dogs, by showing you how to train what I called an incompatible behavior, where you got to see me take Griffin, my chocolate lab, from the point where he was pulling towards his ball or always wanting to bark towards his ball whenever he'd see it, to how I taught him a nicer way to ask for his ball, by quietly making eye contact with me when I would throw his ball instead of barking. And while you saw how it was super effective at eliminating the barking outbursts, I warned you that while I have stopped the most annoying outbursts with Griffin, my dog is actually now even more excited than he was before we started the training. He's just not showing it with the barking. And instead, he's slightly shaking with the effort to contain himself now. And it's in these moments where your dog too is trying to keep his emotions in check, and he's struggling and he's shaking and he's quivering and he can barely do it, that what you need to understand is that your dog's ability to listen to you in those moments has actually decreased dramatically. Because dogs in those moments are so committed to trying to do whatever it takes, and in my dog's case, it was to try to contain himself over his ball, that there's just not room enough in their minds for other thoughts or to listen to other commands you want to give them. And so this is a huge problem, because I'm not always going to have a ball that I can throw Griffin when he gets excited to distract him and get him to obey. Or I won't always be able to take him off of his leash because of leash laws, where I can throw that ball for him and he can go get it. And he won't eat food from my hand when he's in these states of barely containing himself, so that's out too. So in this video today, we're going to really dive into some of the magic behind how an emotion coaching pet parenting style goes about overcoming this challenge with training dogs to be calm. This is the stuff behind how dogs like service dogs are always so calm in grocery store lines, or how seeing eye dogs are always so calm while walking blind people down busy sidewalks, or keeping them out of trouble like from falling into a pond, or how search and rescue dogs are taught to not pay attention to wild animals while they're searching for a lost person in the woods. Because what I like to tell people is that knowing what to do, like look me in the eye when you see something, and then actually going and doing it when it sees that exciting thing, are two very different things. Like, for example, I can remember as a teenager, as I started to become awestruck by pretty girls, sitting there wondering, how can I get this pretty girl to talk to me? Well, step 1 is really pretty simple, right? Maybe try talking to the girl first, right? It's not that tricky, just talk. So what to do isn't usually that complicated. Just talk to the girl. Yet actually getting a teenager's emotions under control enough to go do that talking to that girl, not as typically easy. So I find it helpful to remind my clients that if us humans struggle with controlling our emotions, it's really unfair to think our dogs aren't going to have some struggles too. So in my last video, that's why we focused on the what to do type of stuff that we want our dogs to do in those situations, like how to make eye contact quietly. And now in this video, we're going to show you how to start giving your dog enough emotional control to actually be able to pull this off an incompatible behavior while he's stressed out or overexcited or overly anxious too, so that this behavior doesn't just fall apart and go out the window when he sees one of his emotional triggers that sets him off. Now, before I show you this live training session, a couple of notes. First, in this video, you will see me using a clicker, because the type of behavior I'm teaching my dog in this video, it really happens so fast that using a clicker will double or even triple the speed at which your dog picks up on learning this command. So if you were to just use praise, this would really take too long to train. You can train it with just praise, it just takes longer. And the other thing I want you to notice is that later on, I will show you how to phase out the treats that I'm using in this exercise, because where we're trying to get to is a point where your dog doesn't need you to help him anymore to keep his emotions in check. So just like we wouldn't throw a 2-year-old who can't swim into the deep end of a pool without a life jacket, just because we eventually want her to learn to swim without one, in the beginning of this process, we absolutely use tools like clickers and treats to teach your dog some concepts, even though later I show you how to get rid of them completely. So with that out of the way, go ahead, sit back and watch as I train my dog the chill out command by teaching him a really fun little behavior that I call the sleepy face.
In this video, I want to show you how to train your dog the sleepy face drill. Now, before we get into this, I want to explain something. There is a physiological connection between certain things in your life, my life, and a dog's life. For example, research shows that if you smile, like give a real good smile, you can't help but have different hormones well up inside of you that actually create happiness. And the same thing goes if you're angry. You can't help but have some hormones surge through your body. So we can use this for our advantage by putting things that dogs do that make them happy or make them calm or make them relaxed and putting them on cue. And one of those is the sleepy face. So a dog in a sleepy face is when the eyes aren't like this, the ears aren't pinned back, the mouth isn't closed, direct staring at something, but instead his eyes go from this to soft, his ears come down, his jaw opens a little bit, and he does a slow little pant. And there's a little trick to doing this, and what we are getting and trying to work towards here is you may need to start this drill in your home where there's no distractions, but what we're doing is we're exercising the muscle. And maybe you're already starting to see this week of calming down in a situation where we're above our threshold. Another dog is out there. Right now I'm in an empty park, but I would maybe start in my house and do this, then I'd move to an empty park, then I would move outside of a dog park where dogs are playing and condition my dog from going like this, you know, this classic squirrel moment, to being able to calm down on cue in the presence of his trigger. We've already been working on things like this with when you saw in week 1 with my dog barking at the ball and being able to make eye contact and calming down a little bit. This is just another way to tackle it and a tool set that we can use. And what we're going to do is we're going to eventually add a verbal cue to it. You won't see it happen this week. This is the first time I've ever shot this out at the park. But what it's going to turn into is I'm going to be like, easy. It's a word that I can elongate, and as he gets there and he starts to do it faster and faster, it will pair the word easy with calming down. So if we're walking by something, I can be able to say easy. I can make that word longer or shorter until I get the response that I want, and I will now have an amazing tool of bringing the dog, if he's slightly above threshold, back below threshold where we can work with him again and not have his behavior get out of hand. So here's how this works. All right, so I have my clicker, I have my treat bag. Perfect. Can you sit? Oh, that's not very easy. See, the mouth is shut. Let's wait till he does a pant. There. Did you see the pant? This is also part of the... Can you sit? Easy. We're making for eye contact, and I'm going to give him a little pant. There's his little pant. The other thing that you can do that helps with this, and then I should have mentioned this first, is when he makes eye contact, if he's just doing the hard stare thing, work on blinking. A dog relaxing its eyes is a subtle physiological thing that makes him calm down. So, there. You have to be very quick with this. Look at me. He wants it. So he looked at me, but that's a good sleepy face. Okay. Lays down. That's a good sleepy face. Laying down is also a physiological cue for calming down. There, the mouth opens. Let's see if I can get a mouth open and a blink. There. And right when I get that, and you get that a bunch of times in a row, mouth opens. There's the mouth. He's still looking around, so he's aroused. When his mouth opens, he looks at me and blinks. There. The animals are starting to yawn there if you didn't catch it. So when we get there, sit. So you can see this is just day one. So I think you get the point of what you're trying to do here. We are going to just pick a criteria and we're going to reinforce it, and it won't look amazing the first week. You'll just see a couple little things. You know he's supposed to do some things, but work on actually capturing the blinking, or work on a soft panting, or work on making eye contact with some sort of relaxed behavior, and work on that this week. When he starts to do it over and over and over and over again, add the word easy, and you can start to have it on cue. It's not yet. This is the first week that we're working on it here with the dog. Your dog might look kind of like this, where it's okay, but you do this for 2-3 weeks, just watch, and watch what this tool becomes into. It'll be quite amazing. There's a good sleepy face. You see that?
Yeah, this is a really good angle.
Let's give you a good shot of the sleepy face here. He lays down. Easy. That was pretty good, but then he went back on the bag. I want a blink. There's a blink. Griffin, up here. There's a blink. Good. So we're removing our focus off the trigger, which is the bait bag right in front of him. You see almost a sleepy-eyed look. Reward this until he just starts doing it all the time. Look at how those sleepy eyes get. You can see my excited laughing right there. Got him more excited. It's one of the things that happens to him. Something just to be aware of. Sit down. Let's show him one more. Let's show him one more. Griffin, sit. Come on. There you go. Sit. Good. One more. Easy. There he goes. He goes into the down. Chokes on the hot dog. Easy. Mouth still closed. The mouth open. Easy. There's the sleepy eyes. There we go. There we go, guys. That's what sleepy face looks like. You could almost see him go into position there and start to learn that he's supposed to relax like that in order to get what he wants. We're doing it here in a no distraction environment. Start this in your home, then move to a park with nothing going on, and then watch this week's video about finding your dog's threshold, and use this drill right on the edge of your dog's threshold, and will help you break through those thresholds with your dog so that he'll be able to focus and train. Have a great week of training, guys.
Well, minus the filling of our camera lens full of dog snot there at the end, that's what the first step of this process really looks like, where we train your dog to chill out emotionally. And I hope you're starting to see how after just one day of training, you could start to see Griffin really go into a very relaxed state of mind when I would say, easy. Now remember, the reason why we're training this is because, like how my last video taught an incompatible behavior with teaching my dog to look at me instead of looking at his ball, this video, if you noticed, teaches your dog what I call an incompatible emotion, where the dog isn't just learning how to have pent-up stress and anxiety for those treats and how to contain them while he's looking at them in my hand that you saw in this video, but instead is actually learning that he has to physically relax and let go of his desires in order to actually get what he wants. It's totally different than my last video. And because no dog on earth has ever been capable of remaining excited while also having a relaxed, sleepy face expression, we're able to use this to trick the dog into relaxing for what it wants, which is really a pretty ingenious piece of reverse psychology. So what we need to do now is to take this process where we've gotten our dog to ask for what he wants. In this video it was food, and we've gotten him to do that in a calm, relaxed state, and we need to go to the next process where we do a couple of things. We need to get rid of the treats so that you can have your dog do this even if you don't have a bait bag in front of him. We need to be able to get rid of the ball thrower. We need to be able to get rid of the leash. And we eventually need to be able to get rid of us so that your dog knows how to do these behaviors and be this relaxed automatically without any interventions from us. So that we get to a point when your dog sees his trigger, he is as relaxed with this sleepy face as you saw in this video. And while I've obviously demonstrated how to get your dog to be relaxed when he wants food, like I did in this video, there are also other processes for getting your dog to go through this relaxed mode when the doorbell rings, or when people step foot on your property, or when you come through the front door of your home, or when your dog sees another dog while he's out on the leash. And my goal for you is to make it so that whatever it is in your dog's world that sets him off right now, with a little bit of extra training, about 15 minutes a day, you can have your dog no longer throwing a fit at his trigger, but instead reacting in a calm, relaxed way, without food in front of him, without leashes, without bait bags, and even without you. Which is why I'm excited to announce that 2 days from now, I'm going to be opening up the doors to a new program of mine that I'm calling the Calm Dog Bootcamp, where I'll be taking a handful of clients who are sick and tired of their dog's overexcited, overreactive behavior, who want to finally gain control of their dog's emotions and teach them to finally be calm, and personally working side by side with these folks over the next 8 weeks to completely eliminate your dog's overreactive emotional outbursts by teaching you how to properly raise your dog with this emotion coaching style of pet parenting. Now, my next video will go into the details of how my Calm Dog Bootcamp works, how it trains your dog to calmly react to dozens and dozens of different triggers without you being present, how it gives antisocial dogs the skills they need to get along with other dogs, both the two kind of dogs and the four-legged kind, and how you can even use this program to teach your dog off-leash obedience, where he's so calm and well-behaved, you can learn how to train him to walk off-leash without him leaving your side, and even do it around other dogs, all without food treats, bait bags, ball throwers, or leashes. And no, unlike other programs that charge $800 to train your dog for an 8-week class, this program's not going to cost anywhere near $800 to enroll in. It's not even going to cost you $400, because in my next video, I'm going to give you the opportunity to enroll in the Calm Dog Bootcamp program at a ridiculous discount. And if you're one of the first to apply to work with me, you're also going to get a bundle of incredibly valuable training tools that makes teaching this stuff really easy. So you can finally have everything you need to have that calm dog you've always wanted. So if you're finally ready to put an end to your dog's emotional outbursts and start teaching him how to keep his emotions in check by learning how to be an emotion coaching style of pet parent, mark your calendar for 2 days from now at 9 a.m. Eastern time, because that's when video 4 will go live and when you'll have the chance to be one of the first dog lovers to run your dog through my Calm Dog Bootcamp. And in the meantime, do me a favor and leave me a comment below. You can see all the comments that have been coming in over the last several days, and that I've been responding to almost every single one of them, because I love hearing from you, and I'd love to know how excited you are to finally be able to calm down your dog too. So go ahead and let me know by leaving a comment below, and I'll see you 2 days from now in our last and final video.